So, I think what I'd like to talk about today is not Citizens United as usual for me, but just how far off the deep end the right wing has gone with their social issues. Talk about big government and being radical. You can't get any more big government and intrusive than vaginal probes required, whether the doctor wants it or not. So you can say, all right, they changed it. They're only going to do the other kind of ultrasound. Still, are they doctors? Are they the ones who make this decision? I thought they didn't like big government. They are big government. There is no bigger government than these far right-wing nuts. I'm sorry, but they need to stop. That's all. So.
Is this too tall?
And, you know, the thing is, it's not going to go away. They tried it in the federal government, the Blunt Amendment, on a transportation bill. And of course, they've gone off.
Today is Friday, March the 2nd, 2012. It's Texas Independence Day. And I'd like to say hi and happy Texas 4th of July to all my friends in Texas. But the state we're going to talk about today is not Texas, it's Wyoming. With fewer than 600,000 people and an annual budget of about $4 billion, the state of Wyoming is both the least populous and has the smallest budget of any state in the country. Now, 1 week ago today, despite all of that, the Wyoming State Legislature actually advanced a proposal to deal with what they expect to be the coming political and economic collapse of the United States. In this proposal, which was is their attempt, the duly elected leaders of the state of Wyoming are actually trying to enact. They call for issuing their own metal currency, implementing a selective service system within the state, implementing a draft, raising a standing Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines, and actually acquiring an aircraft carrier and strike aircraft. Now, for the geographically challenged, I'll point out to you that Wyoming is at least 600 miles from the nearest ocean. It is only 50 miles from the Great Salt Lake, but it might be kind of hard to defend the state from an aircraft base there. And there is the largest lake in the state is Yellowstone Lake. It's about 15 miles by 20 miles at its largest points, and it's frozen from December through June. Now, I'll be the first to admit that our country has very pressing and very real and serious problems. However, those problems are entirely solvable. It's just like if you're overweight. There's a sensible way to do it, and there's a ridiculous way to do it. You can go out and buy garments that you wear under your clothing that are supposed to make you lose weight without exercising. You can buy magic pills, but the only way to really lose weight is to eat right and to exercise. The economic problems of our country are the same. We're going to have to raise more revenue, and we're all going to have to do with a little bit less. We're all going to have to pay a little bit more taxes, especially, yes, you rich people. Now, hold up for a second. I hope you understand it's very hard to do this with a straight face, but all of this is true. The point I'd like to make is that there's a right way and a wrong way to do things. You can do it with we all stand together or the every man for himself method. What we need to do is go out and elect leaders that will do the sane, rational approach to solving our problems, not those people who want to hunker down in their bunkers. Thank you, and have a great day.
I'm Allison. Okay, and some people may have heard about the latest. Let's start over. Okay, I'm Allison, and some of you may have heard the latest from Rush Limbaugh. He's been calling Sandra Fluke, who's a third-year law student at Georgetown University, a slut, because she's suggesting that, you know, when we come around to having our medical insurance, that contraception ought to be covered. And in fact, it ought to be covered. But he's saying, well, you know, if you're going to have public funds paying for contraception, that makes us pimps. Well, oh yes, and he wanted something for this. If the public was going to pay for contraception, and actually it would be the insurance companies. The insurance companies would save money because having a childbirth costs a lot more than paying for contraception. But anyway, he wanted videos. Okay. Okay. Well, that's what Limbaugh said. Now, Sandra Fluke is, you know, she's this third-year law student. She was scheduled to give testimony in Congress, the congressional committee that was considering the issue of what should be covered in medical insurance. And it's very unusual, but she was not allowed to give her testimony. Sorry for the noises. She was not allowed to give her testimony, and later she was actually allowed to give her testimony, but the Republican leaders of the committee insisted that her testimony could not be videotaped for the public, as most testimony is. And so what you did not hear from Sandra Fluke, the story that she was going to tell, but she did talk about it on Democracy Now!, and you can go there and see it. And that is, Sandra Fluke had a friend in law school, I believe, and her friend had polycystic ovarian syndrome, sometimes called POS. And one of the things that's commonly used, prescribed for polycystic ovarian syndrome is birth control pills. Birth control pills, in this case, can actually prevent the growth of cysts on the ovary. However, her friend was not able to afford the cost of birth control pills. Being a student, I know how that is. And because she could not afford those birth control pills to prevent cysts, she wound up having a huge cyst on her ovary, had to have the ovary removed, and now she's facing a menopause at the age of 32 and increased risk of heart disease, osteoporosis, and cancer. I think it's pretty clear that, you know,
how you doing?
If we had been able to listen to what Sandra Fluke had to say, we would have heard about the beneficial effects of birth control pills, which are not always for birth control. And I think it's fair to say that Rush Limbaugh has a dirty mind. Thank you.
Please hear the voice of many voices, not only in America, but throughout the world. We need to know that people are being insured for safety, comfort, of knowing they can be in their own home forever. Providing the fact that this is very important in our own lives, amongst many other lives. So why don't we begin the process now? What's the holdup? Why can't we start this progress now? There's no reason why. There are many votes to be heard, so please let us be sound and heard. God bless us all.
Okay, let's see those big brown eyes. Okay.